Why moon and satellite do not fall in the earth? Now, according to Newton's law of gravitation, every object attracts every other object, and thus if the earth attracts an apple and the apple falls on the earth, the apple also attracts a force of attraction on the earth. Both the earth and apple attract, there is a force of attraction. Now, when we have a moon and satellite going around the earth, why they don't collapse or fall on the earth? They do not fall on the earth because they are moving. They have their own acceleration, they have their own mass, and they are moving. That they are directed due to the centripetal force, they move away from the earth, but they are always pulled towards the center of the earth. Now see this paragraph on page number 7. The gravitational force due to the earth also acts on the moon, because of which it revolves around the earth. There is a pull towards the center and the moon is going around. Similar situation exists for the artificial satellites orbiting the earth. The moon and the artificial satellites orbit the earth. The artificial satellites' speed is kept in such a way that it does not go and collide on the moon. The earth attracts them towards itself. But unlike the falling apple, they do not fall on the earth. Why? This is because of the velocity of the moon and the satellites along their orbits. Thus, if their velocity was not there, they would have fallen on the earth. Why is acceleration due to, what is acceleration due to gravity? The earth exerts gravitational force on objects near it. According to Newton's second law of motion, a force acting on a body results in its acceleration. Thus, if I apply a little force on a pen kept on the table, the pen will move. Now this movement is due to the force of gravitation. The force of gravitation is pulling the pen down. Thus the gravitational force due to the earth on a body results in its acceleration, and this is called acceleration due to gravity and is denoted by G, small letter G. Even if we want to get up from a chair, we have to work against this gravity which is pulling us down. Now acceleration is a vector quantity, the motion. It is moving. Where it is moving, it has a direction. Whatever is moving has a direction. As the gravitational force on any object due to earth is directed towards the center of the earth, the direction of the acceleration due to gravity is always directed towards the center of the earth, vertically downwards. What would happen if there was no gravity? We all will not be on the surface of the earth. We will fly away in the space and maybe we will be in two pieces. And what would happen if the value of G was twice as large? So put the value of G, we know 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11, multiply by 2 and put it in the formula and see. The value of G on the surface of the earth we can calculate. According to Newton's law, universal law of gravitation, F is equal to Gmm upon r square. M is the mass of the earth, G value we know, and small, before this I have taught you, F is equal to ma, force into acceleration. Here this acceleration is acceleration due to gravity. So if we substitute this equation 3 and 4, if we make it equal, left hand side is equal, therefore the right hand side becomes equal, and therefore mg is equal to gmm upon r square. Mm gets cancelled on both the sides and we get small g, that is acceleration due to gravity, is equal to gm upon r square. And the object is situated on the center of this earth. To calculate the value of G, we will substitute the value small g, that is we will substitute the value of capital G, 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11, multiply by mass of the earth 6 into 10 raised to 24 upon the radius of the earth, which is 6400 kilometer, but here we take it as 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 meter. We have to convert, we can't substitute in kilometer. So when we work out, this value come up to 9.77 meter per second square. So the acceleration due to gravity, small g is equal to 9.77, or roughly we call it as 9.8. We round it off and we call it as 9.8 because 9.7 is more than 9.5. So we can round it off to 9.8 meter per second square. In some cases, some people consider the value of g as 10 meter per second when they are calculating the numericals. This acceleration depends only on mass, capital M, mass of the earth, and radius of the earth, and therefore the acceleration due to gravity at a given point on the earth is same for all objects. It does not depend on the properties of the object. Now here we have derived the value of g, which now let's see the value of g at the poles at the equator. Variation in value of g, if we take the shape of the earth is not complete sphere, it is like a shape of an orange. If you pierce one needle through it and rotate it, you will see the bulging part takes time to go around and the top and the bottom quickly rotates. So that is the north pole will quickly rotate and the bulging part, the equator, take little more time to rotate. Therefore, there is a difference in the gravity, the small value of acceleration due to gravity. If you see the third line, due to its rotation, earth bulges at the equator and is flattened at the poles. Its radius is largest at the equator and smallest at the pole, and the value of g at the is highest 9.832 meter per second square at the poles and decreases slowly with decreasing latitude. Now what about the change with height? If we sit in an aeroplane and we are going up, we leave the earth's acceleration due to gravity is there. But as we are going up above, suppose now the radius of the earth is 6400 kilometer. If the aeroplane is flying at a height of 10 kilometer above the surface of the earth, its distance from the earth's surface is from 6400 to 6410 kilometer, and this change in value of g is very less because this is in the denominator. On the other hand, we consider an artificial satellite orbiting around the earth. We have to take into account the change in the value of g due to the large change in the distance of the satellite from the center of the earth. Now this satellite is quite far from the center of the earth, so r is very large, and r is in the denominator in the equation small g is equal to gm upon r square. When the denominator is large, the value of the fraction is less. Now here the value of g at the depth, some places are given. Now change with depth. The value of g also changes as we go inside the earth. The value of r. Now we are going inside the earth, going closer to the center of the earth. So what will be the value of g? Will it increase or will it decrease? As we know that acceleration due to gravity is always directed towards the center of the earth. Earth is pulling it. Now an object is suppose in a ship or a submarine and is going down. Value of g changes. The value of g also changes if we go inside the earth. The value of r in equation 5 decreases, and one would think that the value of g should increase as per the formula. However, part of the earth which contributes towards the gravitational force felt by the object also decreases. This means that value of m is used in equation 5 also decreases. Small g is equal to gm upon r square. Now the denominator r square is decreasing because we are going closer to the radius. So distance between the object and the radius is becoming less, and radius, the distance is in the denominator, so the denominator is becoming less. but because the mass and g is also more, it doesn't change much. Now suppose, which means that the value of m to be used in equation also decreases as combined result of change in r and m. The value of g decreases as we go deep inside the earth. The value of g decreases as we go inside the earth. Will the direction of the gravitational force change as we go inside the earth? Now the direction of gravitational force is always downwards towards the center of the earth, and if an object is going towards the center of the earth deep inside the ocean, the direction will not change. What will be the value of g at the center of the earth? At the center of the earth, r will be 0. So you decide what will be the value of g at the center of the earth. Now what is mass and weight? Mass is the amount of matter present in the object. The SI unit of mass is kilogram. Mass is a scalar quantity. It has no direction, and its value will be same wherever we go. This is because of Newton's first law of motion. The first law is law of inertia. Every body continues to remain in its state of rest or of uniform motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Now because it has a mass, it will remain wherever it is, and weight is equal to force, is the gravitational force acting on that mass. The weight of an object is defined as the force with which the earth attracts the object. Force F is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity, mass into acceleration, ma, mg. So W is equal to F, which is equal to m into g, and g we have calculated as 9.8 meter per second square. Therefore weight is equal to whatever is the mass multiplied by the gravitational force. Now if you want to the unit of weight is Newton. If you want to measure the weight of your hand, you go to a nearby grocery shop with an electronic weighing scale and keep your hand on it and see how much it is, 2 kg or 3 kg, whatever is the weight of your hand. So weight is mass into the gravity acting on it. Now suppose today your weight is say 50 kg. You divide it by 9.8 or 10 gravitational force, that much will be your mass. Weight. Now colloquially we use weight for both mass and weight and measure the weight in kilograms, which is the unit of mass. But in scientific language, when we say that Rajiv's weight is 75 kg, this also indicates we are talking about Rajiv's mass. What we mean is that Rajiv's weight is equal to gravitational force on 75 kg mass. As Rajiv's mass is 75 kg, his weight on earth is F is equal to mass into gravity, 75 into 9.8, and force acting on it on Rajiv will be 735 Newton. The weight of 1 kg mass is 1 into 9.8. 9.8 Newton is the weight. Mass is in kilogram, weight is in Newton. Our weighing machines tell us, but in common language we don't say Newton, we just say that it is kilogram. The two scale balances in shops compare two weights with two masses. Gravitational waves is a very important concept in physics. Now it was like Einstein said that gravitational force, these are the waves. Actually you can compare it with the magnetic waves. In my class I had shown you a piece of magnet and we sprinkled some iron filings on it, and you see the lines of forces. Okay, Now gravitational waves, you have seen the waves in the sea or on the surface of the water. You throw a stone and the ripples are created. You take a string, hold it on both the side and you move it from one side, you will see a wave traveling. So that is a wave. So these gravitational force, these are also waves. Similarly, you must have seen waves generated in a string when both its ends are held in hand and it's shaken. Light is also a type of wave called electromagnetic wave. Gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, infrared rays, microwave rays, radio waves are all different types of electromagnetic waves. We see the TV, they are also different channels we are surfing. They are also waves. When the frequency matches, it gets connected. So astronomical objects emit these waves. Now any object in the universe, they give out some kind of waves, and we receive them using our instrument, receiver or receptor. All our knowledge about the universe has been obtained through these waves. Actually the sound on the surface of the sun is very huge, because continuously 4 nuclei of hydrogen are combining to form helium atom, and it is giving away tremendous heat, light and sound also. But there is vacuum inside the earth. There is vacuum between sun and the earth, so that sound we don't catch. Gravitational waves are a very different type of wave. They have been called the waves on the fabric of space. Einstein predicted this in 1916, and after 100 years it is proved that gravitational waves exist. LIGO, Laser Interferometric Gravitational Wave Observatory, is there, and they have predicted this, and Indian scientists have contributed significantly in this discovery.